I'm very happy to welcome you to Build Peace 2025. Thank you for coming all this way. And woohoo! We wanted to start by positioning the theme of this conference and why we are here a little bit. The theme this year is the pluriverse, and it seems fitting that this session is plurilingual. Language is a source of polarization, but it's also what we need to deliberate. Languages are erased to control. Languages are also critical to memory. And in the space of technology, language is an enormous source of bias. The majority of artificial intelligence is trained on a corpus of text that is primarily in English.
So my grandma was a linguist. Actually today, just across the river in a university, there's a day dedicated to her work in analysis discourse in polarization. So I just wanted to say, because I feel like we're talking about the past and the future and the present, and somehow I'm connected to my grandma, even though she's not here today. And she used to say that language makes no sense until we put sense into it, until we try to figure it out, until we talk to each other. And so to start from a place of celebration, pluriversality, and the pluriverse of language, could you please turn to someone sitting close to you that you don't know or don't know very well, and if you do, it's okay, please don't stand up, just talk to each other, and greet them in your language of choice, and then maybe share a little bit about each other. Okay, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, gracias. We will have 3 days to talk to each other. Everyone, please. I'm gonna start calling out personal names if you don't look at me, and please, Anupa, silence. Okay, I'm gonna move on, and then you will hopefully follow me.
Just keep going.
I will keep going. So thanks for talking to each other, and I'm glad you have the interest to do so, because you will be sharing this space for the next 3 days. I also want to say before we begin, and I'm really happy to see that this room is full and that you're all here, but I do also want to say and acknowledge that there are some people who are not here today. Some of them is because they're not with us anymore in this world. Some of them couldn't come because they had to take care of someone. And other people couldn't be here because of a systemic issue, which is visa inequality. And I do want to point it out because we are in a country that restricts access to so many people when we have the chance to go to many places. And so I did want to say that that's something that has been tricky to get here. And I do want to also thank everyone that is here and had to go through that process of frustration and standing by and the effort to come here while others didn't have to do it. So thank you. When voices are missing, we don't only miss the voice, we don't only miss the sound, we miss their stories, we miss the worlds, the stories that they bring with them. And so the pluriverse gets smaller. And Elena, is having more voices always important to peace?
So that's a hard question, because more stories can signal division. There are many stories about the Spanish Civil War. There's the story of your family and the story of my family. When I opened, I didn't say that I'm from Valencia, which is a little further, but also down the road. One story can signal the silencing of others. When Franco celebrated 20 years in power, he called it 20 years of peace. But the counter slogan to that was that was the peace of the graveyards, because a message for some is not the message for all. On social media, we actually think of fragmentation as something that we need to worry about. We just ran a measure of polarization that we're calling the polarization footprint in Kenya, and one of the measures that we looked at was the fragmentation of stories. On artificial intelligence, when you asked ChatGPT for a question and you get one single answer, you have a single narrative that erases the diversity of answers that you could be getting. So fragmentation is not the same as diversity, and consensus is not the same as cohesion. We'll be exploring all of that today in the theme for today, which is between polarization and deliberation.
And so having more stories is critical. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie talks about this a lot in The Danger of a Single Story in her talk, and she talks about it in terms of literature and culture, but it's also very political, in the sense that if we don't have more stories, we oversimplify our understanding of the world. And not only of the present, but also of the past. So if we go to another chapter of Spanish history, which is Spanish colonization. For a long time in Spain, there was a monolithic understanding of what that looked like outside from what we were taught inside. And now slowly that is being challenged. But it has taken a long time until the story of the oppressor, which is the story of the colonizer, which is the one that we knew the most, begins to be broken. And people actually who have been fighting it for so long their stories can also emerge. Sorry, I have it written down. So even like when I was in school, which was not so long ago, we didn't used to learn much about it. And now I look at the books and they have already changed. And this is thanks to the work of so many of us here and so many that are not either. But by also not having more stories, we also oversimplify the complexity of our identities. Because of this past now where most of us are a mix of things, and we restrict the future of the possibility of reimagination. If we don't go back to those stories, we cannot move forward, learn from those who came before us, and we cannot be accountable and we cannot heal. There's always resistance, though, in language, in ways of living, and the use of art and digital technology today also means we can have more stories, we can share them, and we can remember them. And we'll be exploring all of that in day 3, between erasure and memory.
So what you say, Rita, about the monolithic narrative on colonialism makes me think that maybe it's easier to find consensus over wars that we fight, rather than over the peace that we want. That the monolithic narrative of the oppressor or of the victor is an easier narrative often. War is monolithic. It is a common purpose. James Hillman wrote a book called The Terrible Love of War. And in it, he explains why people go to war. People go to war because it gives them a sense of purpose and a sense of flow. And that is a narrative that is very hard to work against, because military discourse is very attractive. And this is something that we'll be discussing on day 2 when we talk about between deterrence and nonviolence. Stories of war are more exciting because they have heroes. Ursula Le Guin, maybe some of you know her, she wrote a bunch of science fiction novels that I personally really love. But she also wrote an essay called The Carrier Bag Theory of Fiction. And in it, she talks about the fact that stories should be modeled on the carrier bag, which holds and gathers rather than conquers. She says that the carrier bag is the original technology of humanity, not the spear, the carrier bag. This means shifting from stories of conflict and triumph to narratives about experience and interdependence. And so that's our invitation for the next few days. Beware of the danger of a single story and collect stories in your carrier bag. Build with those stories a pluriverse of peace.
So, welcome. And we hope that with this invitation, with this main first thoughts, and with the next 2 days to come, you will have a chance to share with each other, exchange with each other, have fun, and enjoy this place. Thank you again for joining, and gracias a tothom. It's a pleasure to have you so close to home. And I do want to say that this conference is only possible thanks to everyone who has worked in it, everyone who is here, but also the people that have made it possible in terms of, that have supported us from the beginning, like the Municipality of Santa Coloma de Gramenet, the Municipality of Barcelona, the Regional Government of Catalunya, Catalunya Internacional, the Tot de Peace Institute, and the Council for Technology and Social Cohesion. So also thank you to all of those that made all of us be here today. And to welcome you not only to the space, the conference, but to Santa Coloma de Gramenet. Now please welcome Mireia González Sáez, the mayor of Santa Coloma de Gramenet.